Thank you for coming back to the Awakening Movement channel, where we dive into the world of lucid dreaming. Today I'm here to talk about dream interpretation and create a playlist dedicated to just different symbols and what their general meanings have been across different cultures and what they mean for me. Now, with dream interpretation, it's always really important to consider that while this is a general meaning that I'm providing for you, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's the one for you. What I like to say is, when you hear an interpretation of a symbol, or if you hear a little bit of backstory about a symbol, maybe from somebody else, if it doesn't resonate, if it doesn't feel right when you hear it, then that's not necessarily the meaning for you. Remember that each dream symbol that we see in our dreams is a symbol that is directly associated to our direct experiences. So an example I like to give is, for one person, a dog is this loyal, amazing, just man's best friend, this beautiful creature, this kind creature. But for another person, a dog might be absolutely terrifying, something that they are running away from in their dreams. So with that, take each and every single one of these meanings that I provide for you with a grain of salt. But before we get into that, I do want to start with this quote. I have this book, Our Dreaming Mind. It is a wonderful book. It covers everything about dreams and some. It talks about different researchers. It talks about the different research that has been conducted. And then it goes even further to talk about the history of dreams across cultures. And it also incorporates lucid dreaming. So this is a wonderful book to read. There's lots and lots of research to reference within this book, so I do like that. It's a bit more of like a textbook. But again, if you're in the practice and you want to learn, this is a book that you might want to pick up and just start to look through. In this book, what I've done is I've kind of looked through each of the sections and read through them, and from time to time I'll just open it up to an area and see what comes up to me or what stands out to me. And today I opened up the book and there's this quote from Richard Bach, who was an American author who was known for his philosophical inspirational books. So the quote goes like this: "There was always light shining in the darkness for those who dared to open their eyes at night." Let me say that again. There was always light shining in the darkness for those who dared to open their eyes at night. I'm just going to leave you with that for a second. Just feel that one. And may the adventure begin. So I'm going to go through some of the just general interpretations for what dreaming of a house means across a few different cultures. Again, remember, these are extremely general and broad. They are not meant to be direct or exact definitions. But I thought, why not cover a different cultural context and see what they say? So for a general meaning of the symbol of the door for Native Americans is the door. I meant the house. The house, what am I saying? The general, maybe I need to do one on the door next. General meaning for the house is the body itself. So different areas of a house would be different aspects of one's life journey or different types of personal challenges they've experienced. For example, and this is maybe why I said door, the doorway of a house often represents a threshold or transition in one's life. So different aspects of the body itself, different aspects of the life journey, or personal challenges you're experiencing. Okay, for general Chinese dream interpretation, the house is a metaphor for fortune and prosperity. For example, a well-kept house could mean a life of balance. Yet a broken or disheveled house could mean internal chaos. It could represent a need for spiritual healing. Each room would be a different area of life. For example, the kitchen could symbolize nourishment and wealth, and then a bedroom can be intimacy and rest. So those are pretty straightforward when you think about it. The symbol of being in your bedroom, what that actually means, maybe intimacy and rest. Maybe you're in your bedroom in the dream because you're processing the fact that you need to maybe become a little easier and more gentle on yourself, and that there's a need for rest in a certain aspect of your life. And that would also depend on all the other symbols that are going on in that moment, but that could be an interpretation for that. And if that resonates, cool. Moving on to ancient Egyptian culture. The house is a representation of the afterlife. One's eternal resting place. Construction or inhabiting houses can be a representation for the preparation for the journey of life after death. The structure of the house does often represent and reflect the stability of one's soul. So we see a lot of tying to the self with the house. The self so far has been this indication of you, your soul, your big I, right? In Africa, a general interpretation of the house could be protection and strength of one's lineage. If you are building a house in a dream, you could be building your character. So there's so many ways and so many facets that this can just really mean something in and of itself, but then from that you get an abstraction or another piece, and then from that you get another piece, and you just keep putting them together with each symbol that comes together within that dream scene. Just in general, in the West, the house does represent the self. Each room reflects different parts of your psyche. The attic could be holding your hidden thoughts or memories, and the basement can be the repressed emotions or fears you've experienced in your life. For me personally, this one really resonates. The house is and has been always a representation of myself, and that ground level for me represents consciousness, right? Just your conscious mind, right? You walk into the house, these are the things that you can see that are always there, and then you can move into different parts of the house and experience different parts of your psyche, different parts of the unconscious. I've had dreams where I have this beautiful white marble on that ground level. House is just gorgeous, just airy, it's light. It felt just so well to be in that space. And then I traveled down, I descended into the basement, and it was an area that I clearly could see needed work, it needed attention, it needed love. And I was met by a reoccurring dream character that I know is something that I am trying to integrate in myself. And waking up from that dream and having that understanding that different aspects of the house, different areas of the house mean different things, I was able to sit after the dream and reflect of what that symbol means for me and what it was trying to explain to me. So I do resonate with it being the self, and that I've had dreams where I ascend to the attic area, and there's old statues and cobwebs and furniture, your typical like movie scene of an attic. And that was an area where I needed to go and reflect on memories from the past, to be able to better process the things that I've experienced. So that is the house in a nutshell. It for me, and based off of what I've read, it seems to be a representation of the self, but that doesn't always have to ring true for every single person. That did resonate for me. I look at the house as a part of me, and sometimes I'll have dreams just to keep just talking about the house and how it can mean different things at different times depending on what you're experiencing within the house. But I've had people come to my door and knocking on my door that I did not want in my house. And for me, that was a representation of an aspect of myself that was looking to integrate with me. And it came knocking at the door, and I was not ready for that yet. I was not ready to allow that part of myself back into the house. And this is where dream journaling and having the ability to become lucid and practice your lucid dreaming practice is really it can really change your life, is where you have those dreams, you become aware that you're having these dreams. Here's the pattern. I have someone at my door that I don't want to let in, becoming lucid in those moments and being able to then interact with the dream character and receive a healing from within. It is very powerful, and learning what each symbol means for you is always going to be what matters. So take the time to think of, when you have a specific symbol that appears to you, what does it mean? What does it feel like when I think of this? What do I think, or what do I feel when I think of this person? And then you can tie that back always to yourself, because this is a reflection of yourself. Even though you might see familiar people and faces in your dreams, and maybe they're doing things that they've really done to hurt you, again, it's not actually about them, it's about you. And the dream will always represent things in a way that's going to get your attention. So if you're having a dream that really sticks out, a certain sequence of events that takes place, and maybe it's terrifying, it's because your psyche is literally screaming for integration. And even if you don't get lucid in your dreams, just being able to journal your dream out and then have a little brief journaling session of what that dream meant for you can be very healing in and of itself. Journaling is a very important process in this practice, where you do document your dreams, and then you can start to journal out. And sometimes it turns into like a little automatic writing session where you're just writing what comes. But that's very healing. That's giving the attention to it, right? We want to shed the light of consciousness there. And if that means that we're doing it in our waking reality, that's wonderful. What ultimately we need to do is bring our attention and our awareness to what it is that our psyche or a subconscious mind is trying to communicate with us. So that is a general breakdown of the house. I want to continue to post videos about different symbols, and the specific playlist will be dedicated to that. I really am super grateful, if you've made it this far to the end of the video, for your time to watch this video and to digest some of this information. I am so grateful to be able to share this. It's been my area of study for over 4 years. I'm just, I've been my own case study, journaling and dreaming and awakening in my process. And I am so happy to be able to share this information. The dream is the gateway to the inner self. And we dream every night. And sometimes we remember, sometimes we don't, but we do. We dream every night. When we do remember, it's a reflection into your inner world. Remember that. It's your own inner world being reflected back to you. Now, are you going to take the time to understand yourself and write those dreams down? If you choose to do that, it can make a huge impact on your life. And I can say that specifically for myself. I've seen the change in my own life, and I would love to be able to share that change with another. So with that, I bid you a very pleasant sleep tonight, and I hope that your brightest and most lucid dreams come true. Night.